Hey guys, what's up? So, it's pretty obvious that we're all going through a really tough time right now. We've either lost our jobs or had to be allocated to do all of that in our own domicile. It's really unfortunate, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people watching this right now can relate. I myself am someone who works, well, not anymore, and is still studying. So we're about a month and a half in with the social distancing law, and no doubt, pretty much everyone around the world is starting to feel like Shia LaBeouf in Disturbia, but possibly without a neighbor with murderous tendencies. No super sex either. So needless to say, it's been pretty tough, not just for people who are in the workforce, but for people who are also studying. But not all hope is lost, and if you're in the middle of studying or if you're trying to do all of your work from home, there are 10 albums that are willing to be your study buddies for the next couple of months. Also, before we get into this list, I just want to remind everyone to click those like and subscribe buttons, but before you do that, make sure you wash your hands because that shit's really important, and also ring the bell for extra notifications to let you know when my next video will be up. And so, without further ado, here are 10 Vaporwave albums to help you get through your workload. Starting at number 10, we got Sweet Water Jams by Hogar Digital HD. If the lo-fi hip-hop radio got hooked on Chuck Person's Echo Jams, this is quite possibly the closest outcome you'd get from such a combination. Though a very short record with each song spanning at about a minute and 30 seconds long, Sweet Water Jams by Hogar Digital HD, released through DMT tapes, flows at a very mesmerically warm pace with very soothing traces of almost psychedelic and jazzy ambiance to its nature. Smooth, sweet, and also stays true to that classic lo-fi quality that you often hear on the old 1980s Panasonic cassette player that you used to have. It's structured much like those earlier Vaporwave jams, short in length and somewhat repetitive in its ilk as an EP, but the vibes you get from it are what counts the most. And this thing specifically speaks to me like I'm on the phone with an imperative figure that works for some big financial corporation in Wall Street, who then puts me on hold, and this is the kind of music that's playing in the background. Number 9. Crystal Sun by Lost Cascades. Fancy a quest to search for those hidden treasures and upgrades to help boost those experience points? Let one of the freshest records of the year by Lost Cascades be your guide in the 16-bit world to help you search far and wide across the world of Crystal Sun. Released in February this year via Geometric Lullaby, this banger inspired by the likes of Secret of Mana, Chrono Trigger, and Golden Sun will transform your boring, monotonous workload into an exciting RPG the very second you hit that play button. You can tell that Lost Cascades love their video game style soundtracks, and this will simultaneously take you on a trip through memory lane and have you feel like you yourself have been transported into a digital RPG. If you're a big gamer and you yearn for a very good session afterwards on your favorite console, Lost Cascades' Crystal Sun will help satiate those cravings and persuade you to keep your focus and concentration on a very persistent level. Number 8. Number 8. Marina by Vaporwave. Are you one of the many that had to unfortunately cancel their honeymoon or that extended summer getaway you planned many moons ago? Well, Australian producer Vaporwave, one of the greatest names in the world of Vaporwave, has got you covered with his latest release through the First Class collective label, Marina. This 10-track ensemble will have you imagining that gleaming sun on a 60-meter yacht with enough fruity cocktails and exquisite canapes to satiate those taste buds for quite a while. But don't worry if you think you'll find yourself getting distracted and getting lost in the midst of working through those papers, as Marina sets a really good balance between fantasy and reality. It's also a good record to help unwind from everything surrounding today's pandemic, and kind of serves as a silver lining reminding you that it's going to be better, that you'll soon be able to travel again with your loved ones and have the opportunity to turn the first time you heard Marina into a reality. Despite what may need to be done from home right now, not all hope is lost, and it'll be easier if we just accept what's happening right now is happening, and that it will take some time for us to get past all this. But once we do, we'll finally get to explore that part of the world we've always wanted to visit. So let Marina reassure you with that mentality, and that everything will blow over quicker than you think it will. Number 7, Birth of a New Day by 2814. One of Dream Catalog's most acclaimed LPs to date, this collaborative piece between Telepath and HKE still holds up as one of the genre's most significant releases ever.
2814 Sophomore Birth of a New Day will provide you with what feels like the intoxicatingly aesthetic equivalent to the likes of Godspeed You Black Emperor and Sigur Rós. This is an album that will have your body traveling the astral planes and witness parts of the universe you never thought existed or were humanly possible to comprehend. It's like a fusion between Akira and a futuristic and more optimistic telling of an H.P. Lovecraft story where the unknown is not what should be feared, but be understood when we're in the proximity of its range. Birth of a New Day is truly multi-dimensional and quintessentially divine in so many ways it's indescribable. Its ambiance and ultra-modern approach gives off this vibe that urges the listener to dig deeper into parts of their conscious state of mind and scrutinize even the tiniest grain of information that could prove to be useful in the process of interpretation and perception.
And hold that thought while we're on the topic of HKE, not so much Telepath. And apparently it's called Hyperchill, or hashtag Hyperchill. I don't know if you guys can see that. But yeah, just thought I'd give you the update and check it out. I sure as hell am. But let's get back to the list.
Number 6, Gateway 2000 by Mindspring Memories. There's nothing more enchanting in the world of Slushwave than this 2018 LP from ambience enthusiast Mindspring Memories, once again released via the Legends at Geometric Lullaby. Eerie production with the sensation of floating in the lukewarm depths of the sea surrounded by the most vibrant shades of coral, Gateway 2000 is a serene and imperturbable record that will massage all those mental knots that continue to fatigue your concentration. This album has a tendency of enveloping the listener in a blanket of contentment and lets your frame of mind gain plenty of breathing space whenever you feel like you're struggling. Think of it like you're drowning in the sea, but the ocean itself grants you a set of gills to breathe underwater and allows you to explore everything beneath the surface of the Pacific to your heart's content. With tracks clocking in at about 3 to 5 minutes long on average, Gateway 2000 also supplies the listener with some extended hypnagogic melodies that will have you feeling like you've encountered the lost city of Atlantis. Number 5, Exotics by VCR-Classique. Already considered to be a favourite amongst the community and an essential from last year, this little beauty known as Exotics will quickly turn your office cubicle into a spatial, luxurious room situated in one of the tallest buildings in the city. VCR-Classique's choice of samples and luscious production are smooth, crisp and get straight to the point, all the while staying true to that lo-fi aura that helps decorate the overall vibe of nostalgia. For those that prefer to lavish and indulge in that jazzy side of Vaporwave, you can't go wrong with VCR-Classique. This album is like earning a whopper of a promotion from your boss and not only earns you a business class flight to attend a conference outside the country, but you get given a room so high up you can get a clear view of the entire city in the midst of autumn with a rich glass of the finest wine in your hand. Work hard and strive for that promotion, my friends, and eventually you'll get there. Number 4, Vacant Places by Hantasi. We have yet another classic from the depths of Geometric Lullaby. If you still want to have that sensation of getting lost and admiring your surroundings in an abandoned mall, this mall soft essential from 2012 released by Hantasi is the most ideal selection for you. On this album, let Hantasi serve you as your own personal tour guide as he turns all your Google and Wikipedia searches into one gigantic discounted shopping spree. The minute you hit play on this thing, you'll be feeling like you've returned to your favorite plaza from the early 1990s all to yourself as you gain access to all the information you need for that big essay you're writing on. Soon enough, you'll be treating all the materials and resources you're collecting like you're on this large episode of bargain hunting. The answers to any questions you're struggling to find will later be found in a heartbeat at such a low price, and it will make the experience feel all the more rewarding. This is a really tranquilizing piece that can really put you in the zone, and it will always make you feel welcome whenever you decide to visit the residence of hyperconsumerism. Who'd have thought the concept of merchandising could be embodied into an album and help make someone become so intellectual? Number 3, Marble Fantasy by Haircuts for Men. Haircuts for Men have been everyone's designated choice for background music for quite a while now, and it's pretty easy to see why. Just about every album in their discography is perfect for such an occasion, and it's hard to keep track of everything that Haircuts for Men have put out, as well as how well constructed every record is. Personally, I had to go with this 2016 stroke of genius known as Marble Fantasy. A small selection of tracks so nicely scratched out, detailed and composed with a plethora of cleverly arranged samples, resulting in one of the most unique takes on Vaporwave you'll ever hear. This thing is just so fluent in being aesthetically smooth and nostalgic beyond comprehension, and you'll find yourself wanting to look further into Haircuts for Men's anthology and later becoming hooked on everything else that they've ever done. If your house or apartment has got you feeling like you're imprisoned in a padded cell, let Marble Fantasy decorate your surroundings with ceramic tiles, synthetic plants and palm trees, and a nice water fountain to touch it all up. Better yet, this gives you the willpower to take all the things around you and turn them into something of your own. You could say this is Vaporwave for the mind to play with, because it allows your imagination to have its own artistic freedom in any way, shape or form. Number 2, News at 11 by Cat System Corp. Cat System Corp has without a doubt produced an abundance of classics since making this mark on the scene, much like 2016's News at 11. This near 2-hour long masterpiece has since been considered a staple to the scene and one of the most fundamental albums to represent the community of Vaporwave. Despite the dark and tragic undertones conceptualizing the events and alternative outcomes on what could have happened on 9/11 in this 2016 LP, Cat System Corp provides you with a chilling yet composed take on lo-fi music and plunderphonics. Sampling a number of 80s and 90s tracks along with some small cuts of news reports surrounding the days of September 11, Cat System Corp interprets a utopian setting on this possible outcome if the events had never occurred and that it was just another day in the life of the average New Yorkian. Aside from its narrative and subtle connotations detailed throughout this 20-track stunner, News at 11 feels a lot like the soundtrack to a rare, historic art museum somewhere in the underground of Manhattan, where you discover all the little intricate particles that helped create the city. I don't know why, but that's just the vibe I get from this in general, but it goes without saying that this is some of the finest background music with a fine selection of tracks to help set the mood and stimulate your thirst for wisdom and knowledge. And last, and number 1 on the list, Interstellar Intercourse by Telepath. And number 1, we gotta give it to one of the most notable names and one of their most remarkable contributions to the scene of Vaporwave. Ethereal and transcendent in its entirety, Vapor veteran and ambient producer Telepath gives you an immaculate and celestial out-of-body experience with their 2015 magnum opus, Interstellar Intercourse. Spanning over 130 minutes long, the impalpable atmosphere of this luscious, enigmatic piece of art will have you reconnecting all those wires circuited throughout your brain. As time rolls by with your fingertips tracing around the keyboard or the pen in your hand staining the abundance of papers you're writing on, you won't even realize the album itself is transitioning between tracks, as it just feels like one gargantuan song disguised itself as one big separate variety of compositions. Telepath has a real knack for combining the aesthetics of Vaporwave with the desire of getting the listener to unlock parts of the minds that they never thought were accessible. For that, Interstellar Intercourse is the perfect choice when obtaining information in the process and analysing every little ounce of detail you stumble upon. If the NCT48 pill from Limitless took the form of music instead of a drug, Interstellar Intercourse would undoubtedly be its audible counterpart. And make sure you have some awesome quality headphones on you as you listen to this record, because it'll make the expedition of obtaining knowledge all the more hypnotic and astounding.
So thank you very much once again for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope these suggestions are good, and hopefully people in the comment section, I hope you guys have got some other awesome suggestions for those that are watching and really need that big spark of enthusiasm to finish all their work. It's just really good to see everyone communicating with each other and getting to know other different genres of music and different bands. It's just, that's what brings us all together. Until next time, big love from your boy down under, Daydream Deluxe.